Barack Obama pushes digital fingerprints to fight misinformation. Hmm. Well, yeah, that's what they say. It's to fight misinformation, but usually when they say it's to fight or combat something, it's just the opposite. And really, when they'll make it sound all noble and nice, and because of all these deep fakes, actually they want to have those deep fakes, but they're going to use it to their advantage and for their benefit, especially if they can frame and set up different people, just like you see all those AI deep fakes going on around here, from AI mimicking and imitating people's voices to the one that's imitated and mimicked Joe Rogan's voice, freaking him out, and others. Like, there's a lot going on with that, but that's going to be for another video. Um, the plan was to always have a digital fingerprint. In other words, you have to have certain type of login ID and information which tracks and trace who you are, where you are on the internet, where you're going. It always watches and monitors where you're traveling and searching on the internet. Whatever you like to watch, look at, anything. What's your favorite sites? If you're the type of person that will visit and look at things that are pro-American, patriotic, Christian, then let me tell you right now, the government's going to be definitely tracking you, and your ESG credit score, when that comes online, will deduct your credit score level all the way lower and lower and lower. Or if you are even on YouTube, it's going to know who you are on YouTube, who you are on this website, social media platform, whatever, and it's going to watch what you say, how you talk. If it's just like China, if you don't say things that's in line with the government, that's anti-government, that's if you don't speak and talk how they want you to, then you won't be able to fly planes, ride on trains, and all this other stuff. So that's what that's really about. But we're going to read an article out of Breitbart. And there's many that you can look at to get different perspectives. But again, if you want the truth, you can't find that in much, um, places today. You just got to really dig. But it's not about, all of this noble good stuff. It's about control. It's about control, and it's about control. That's all it's about. So let's read this article real quick. So I'm not going to read all the article, but just read some of it just real quick. It says, um, the former Democratic president wants the origin of digital information, such as photos and videos, to be clearly traced to fight the spread of deepfakes. That's technology here now. That technology is here now, said Obama in a discussion with his former advisor, David Axelrod, on the latter CNN CNN podcast. So, most immediately, we're going to have all the problems that we had with misinformation before. This next election cycle will be worse. And the need for us, for the general public, I think, to be more discriminating consumers of news and information, the need for us to over time develop technologies to create watermarks or digital fingerprints so we know what is true and what is not true. The idea of fighting misinformation by tracing the origin of digital info is not new. A coalition of tech and media companies led by Microsoft is already trying to make this technology the industry standard, as is a coalition with similar goals led by Adobe. Before he left office, President Obama helped spark the media panic over fake news, later rebranded as misinformation, that was adopted by the media, NGOs, and the tech companies as a pretext to suppress conservative content. So they say, oh yeah, there was a bill that he signed right before he left office to fight misinformation, and I think it's the NDAA Act or something of that nature. I'll have to research that and look at it again. But it was one that he put out because the Democrats were upset when Trump won, and so in this act or bill that he had signed, it was to stop um, certain amounts of information. In other words, where they could track and heavily monitor it, and it gave all the social media sites the green light to start suppressing conservatives, and with the help and push of the Biden administration, it was happening some in Trump's, because the green light was given by Obama during Trump's term in the White House. Obama have given his green light for social medias, which is usually, Silicon Valley and all them are by more leftist leaning people that's more democratic. And again, I'm not trying to make it a party thing. I'm just giving you an honest statement. And so a lot of times they say, oh, well, the reason why we want to do away with misinformation is really called AKA truth. So anything that's truthful, anything that exposes the agenda of the corruption, that videos that are dealing with like FBI corruption, videos that are talking about different things such as medicine shots and stuff like that, or anything that has to pertain to truth, they don't like that, and they will call it misinformation. That's why you have Facebook trying to flag a lot of things that are more of the conservative or truthful side, and they label that misinformation, while on the other side you could say anything you want and you will not get one strike, you will not get one flag saying, oh, this is false information, because this is what they're doing now. But they want to get it to a point where all you have is in order for you to get in on the internet, and they're going to first try to crash it, which it won't never crash, but they're going to say it's a crash or a hack so that they can upload a new system to where everyone is going to have to conform. Even when you have to pay bills online, you're going to have some type of digital ID to track and trace and follow where you go, what you spend, how you buy. Because again, it's going to tie in with this ESG, which ESG means environmental. Notice that. Social and governance, credit score. Wow. Brought to you by the hands of communist China. Enjoy that one. So, but also now the United Nations is, they're trying to push this deal, and you have others in the WEF. They're trying to hurry up because they feel like they're not reaching their goals. So they're trying to have 7 years. They want to try to get together in September of 23 to try to find out a way how to push their agenda forward, because so they can meet their goals by 2030. It was Agenda 21, but now, which was aimed towards Christians, but now it's been pushed back a little bit, especially since things have been set back for the globalist agenda, and so we need to be wise to these things. But check this out. So it says right here, Department of Economic and Social Affairs. See that top left-hand corner, my left, your left, if you're looking at the screen. Just announced a launch of a 7-year rescue plan. Okay, the United Nations, that's their satanic emblem. Department of Economic and Social Affairs. We need 7 years of accelerated transformation action to achieve SDGs. In other words, SDGs means Sustainable Development Goals. And so let's take a look at this real quick.
My brother in Christ, Tyler, over at Generation 2434 channel, and many of you that had sent me this. This is actually, if you go to the United Nations website, you go to their Department of Economic and Social Affairs, this is recently just in. Look at the title of this article here from the UN's own website. We need 7 years of accelerated, transformative action to achieve SDGs. SDGs stands for Sustainable Development Goals.
Okay, so you see the Sustainable Development Goals, and it says number one, they'll show it real quick, but number two, zero hunger, good health and well being. Number three, number four, quality education, end hunger, or something with equality. And then on down, sanitation, clean energy, all this stuff, it's a bunch of nonsense and it's a bunch of lies. Actually, what they say they want just the reverse and opposite for it. If anybody gets all of that, then only ones who are going to get that is the elite. For everybody else, they're going to be shoved into the inner city. They don't want people living on the outskirts in the suburbs. They want to use the military force, the United Nations Army, which, by the way, if the United Nations release their so-called peacekeepers troops into this state to go around and police, that would be a sign of war right there. Well, not that they are a nation, but that would be unconstitutional, and that would constitute an automatic gunfight, if anybody knows any better, because the United Nations has no jurisdiction. It doesn't matter what any president does and what they try to put us into and put us of any United Nations program or World Economic Forum or any of that group for that nature. We are not beholden to them, and they do not technically have sovereignty over us. Yeah, definitely, they are out of line, and as good American citizens and any citizen of the world, we should not allow our so-called leaders to give over our sovereignty of our country to the WHO, which is another subsidiary of the United Nations, stuff like that. So all the stuff they're saying is just opposite of what they really want. Is false. They say that, but it's only for them, the elite. It's not for you. They want, as Klaus Schwab says, you'll be in 10 years, meaning 2030, you will be you will own nothing and be happy. So let's get more into the article. Let's look at that video.
Said here, listen to this. Almost 8 years have passed since the international community agreed to take bold and transformative steps to achieve the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, a plan of action to secure the rights and well-being of everyone on a healthy, thriving planet. Today, at the halfway point to 2030, that promise is in peril, and a fundamental shift is needed in commitment, solidarity, financing, and action to put the world on a better path, and it is needed now. The SDG Summit, which I already told you guys, SDG stands for Sustainable Development Goal. The summit in September 2023, this September, actually it's going to be held September 18th to 19th, which is just after the Feast of Trumpets, or Rosh Hashanah, this year. This summit must signal a genuine turning point. It must mobilize the political commitment and breakthroughs our world desperately needs. It must deliver listen to this, it must deliver a rescue plan for people and the planet. A rescue plan. At the center of this rescue plan, heads of state and government must recommit to 7 years of accelerated, sustained, and transformative action, both nationally and internationally, to deliver on the promise of the SDGs. Leaders can show their resolve by adopting an ambitious and forward-looking political declaration at the SDG Summit and presenting global and national commitments for SDG transformation. Stuff up. We've been talking about Agenda 2030 for a while. For those of you that don't know what it is, it's basically the globalists, the world leaders, the elite. They're all working together. They want to have a one world government in place by the year 2030.
So they're calling for a summit to be held this September-ish, something around there, at the United Nations. It's an emergency meeting. They're trying to push these things ahead because they feel like they're running out of time. They need to get everybody online, on the same page, get this commitment again, get everybody ready, because they're trying to get this one world order pushing forward. No, it cannot they cannot miss the 2030 deadline. So they have to have all these things in order, which everything they're saying right now, it's not what you say, what they say it is. Trust me. These people are the children of the devil, and they are working hard for a one world government. So if anybody, as I have been deceived over the years to think the United Nations is this wonderful place that is trying to look for world peace and unity. On the outside, they do certain things like that, but they are not who you think they are. They have some of the most sinister goals and agendas, and then, other groups and branches like the Trilateral Commission and the WHO. I tell you, they have some agendas that will blow your mind. And so, I'll show you one more video and then we'll get out of here.
It is.
Digital platforms are being misused to subvert science and spread disinformation and hate to billions of people. This clear and present global threat demands clear and coordinated global action. Our policy brief on information integrity on digital platforms puts forward a framework for a concerned international response.
Okay, he said a lot in that little speech there, but put it easy, he's calling for, a digital platform for everyone in the world that's part of the United Nations to, get rid of disinformation and hate. We can't have people like Lisa Haven, Dan Bongino, and all the other conservative people saying things that they don't like about certain things. So we're going to put forward this policy, and he holds up this book. Well, I'm going to go through that book in just a moment, but he also states that we need a global effort to get rid of this disinfo kind of personnel. Wink and nod. That is basically key talk for shut the hell up, little people. Let us do what we want, and we're going to do what we want, and we're going to bring peace and safety and security, which shall be interpreted as authoritarianism, fascism, communism, whatever. It's all a hellhole. But basically, it's going to be a living nightmare with them at the top, you on the bottom, and they're going to control everything from your AC to your car to how far you drive to what you do, everything.
So that was Lisa Haven. You can check her out. And you see, and that's what they want to do. Globalists, they want policies they have in order to control how far you drive. They want to even have, they have a deal. I have to find where it is, but it's already like written out as far as the plans for they can control even to have visas or papers for you to cross from state to state. But that's, even to fly, they want to push this whole carbon crap and fallacy because they don't want you flying. Only the elite, as AOC says, only important people should be able to fly. Well, she ain't that important and she's stupid. So you have all of these people who has been elected, or whether they cheated their way in office, it don't matter. They that sit in high places, they want to be like kings and queens, not realizing that they're supposed to work for us. Now, all these other offshore groups and people that don't even have, who weren't even elected, they want total power, and they want all the presidents and prime ministers to be beholden to them and fall down at their feet, worship them, and abide by their policies, like the World Economic Forum, headed by Klaus Schwab and his henchman Yuval Harari, who is a gay atheist who doesn't believe in God and says that the resurrection of Christ is fake news. They want to control information. They don't want truth. They hate it. And so they, in order for them to counter it, because they can't counter it with other facts and they can't hold an intellectual rebuttal or argument, they have to just shut you down like the tyrants they are, as Lisa Haven says. So we're just going to shut you down. We're going to be just like Hitler and Stalin and Mao. We're going to just shut you up because your truth is, as I said many times, truth is always dangerous to liars. It's an affront to deceitful, evil workers of iniquity. And so what they want to do is say, oh, well, we got to counter misinformation, or in the name of truth, or this new ministry of truth, because if they don't like what you're saying, we're going to call it a lie. We're going to call it false, and we're just going to shut you up. And so that's what it's about. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, and keep your eyes open, and stand strong and be vigilant, and most of all, be spiritually sober. For the Lord comes like a thief in the night, and so let's be spiritually ready. But while we're still here, let's stay about the Lord's business, doing the kingdom work, and let's share information with people. And please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.